What language should be used to describe these images? The government says the killing of civilians in Gaza is intolerable, a slaughter, but it won't say Israel's response is disproportionate or criminal. And it's that lack of unequivocal condemnation that prompted this Foreign Office minister to resign. The first Muslim woman in cabinet decided she could no longer support her government's foreign policy.
Over the last 4 weeks, I have done everything that I can, both at formal meetings and informal meetings, trying to convince my colleagues that our current policy on Gaza is morally indefensible, that it's not in our interests, it's not in British interests, and that it will have consequences for us both internationally and here at home. But in the end, I felt the government's position wasn't moving, and therefore I had to, on a point of principle, resign.
The Prime Minister, on holiday in Portugal, was informed of her decision shortly before it was announced on social media. Mr Cameron's spokesman said he regretted her resignation. Others had stronger language.
I think this is a disappointing and frankly unnecessary decision. The British government is working with others in the world to bring peace to Gaza, and we do have now a tentative ceasefire, which of course we all hope will hold.
Lady Warsi once stood for election in her hometown of Dewsbury in Yorkshire, and some there today thought she had done the right thing.
I have to agree with her on that, so I may not agree with her other policies, whatever, but I have to agree with this bit.
I support her. I think good, yes. Yes, I think Israel has just gone beyond, what can I say?
Sayeeda Warsi has long been a supporter of David Cameron without ever being part of his inner circle.
I am proud that I can stand here with the first Muslim woman in a shadow cabinet or cabinet in Sayeeda Warsi.
She co-chaired his party, she travelled the world with him, a symbol perhaps that the Tory party was changing. But she was also outspoken and mocked his reliance on fellow Old Etonians. In his response to Lady Warsi, David Cameron says that he has expressed grave concern about civilian casualties and called on Israel to exercise restraint. But her resignation means he's now under much greater pressure to go further. Pressure that's not just coming from Labour.
It's a proper principled resignation over a very serious matter of international policy. And I, like her, would like the United Kingdom to have a more constructive policy.
I think people around Britain have been shocked by the casualties and suffering that we've seen in Gaza. And I hope that David Cameron will reflect on what she says in her resignation letter and change his approach.
Yesterday, Lady Warsi took part in an act of remembrance over an old war. Today, though, she delivered an act of defiance over a new one. James Landell, BBC News, Westminster.